Shalom and welcome to It's All About the Aliyah. I'm excited about our program today. I have author Lesley Richardson with us. Lesley was born in Australia where she grew up and studied English literature and theology. And in 1980, she moved to Israel where she published Bible Gems from Jerusalem, an award-winning piece. But today we're here to talk about a new work. It's called Creating Beauty from the Abyss. It is the story of a Holocaust survivor. And I'm excited to have Lesley with us and bring you that story. Lesley, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me, Gary.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Lesley, I just recently read Creating Beauty from the Abyss and gave it a 5-star review on Amazon. It's well-deserved. It's a beautiful piece, beautifully written. I was completely captivated by Sam's story.
Yeah, it really is one of the most amazing stories I've come across. And I really think it's the ultimate Holocaust survivor story. And I feel I was very, very privileged to come to write it.
Oh, I can imagine, because reading it, you just feel that you've fallen into Sam's life as I was reading it. And I want to read something that you wrote in your foreword. You know that expression, "You had me at hello"? Well, you had me in the foreword. You said this: "One does not write about the Holocaust lightly. For it was then that the darkness that is in the human heart took shape and showed itself openly in a way that is without precedent. It still confronts us with the mystery and its horror, defying explanation and categorization, and the words describing what took place will always fall short." That is a place of humility and empathy that just drew me right in. You get it. It's obvious to me about the Holocaust.
Yes, well, I did approach the task with trepidation. And what I didn't realize was that it would be a very intense journey and a very emotional journey. And there was also, as you know, a great deal of background research for it, because I wanted to set Sam's story against the wider background of the war. Because, as you know, he had this remarkable facility for getting caught up in all these dramatic events that have really become that were very significant in the war and in the historical account.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, Forrest Gump was a fictional tale of him, falling into all of these different situations, whereas Sam's was true. And he was there at these amazing events like Dunkirk and others. I don't want to get too much of a spoiler alert here, but the book is quite amazing. Tell us, before we continue on the book, first of all, how did you make this connection? What led you to Israel in the first place?
Okay, so I went to Israel in the 1980s. It was a place that I really was longing to actually live and work there. I was fascinated by Israeli history, Jewish history. I was incredibly impressed by the courage of the Jewish people. I knew everything that they had gone through. And for all these reasons, I very much wanted to spend time in Israel. And I was very fortunate because I got work in a number of big Christian ministries. And the first place I worked was the Anglican school in Jerusalem. And I was teaching English, and it's an international school. And there was a young woman there called Annabelle Hersiger, who was teaching French. She was an Israeli citizen. She had made Aliyah with her family several years ago from Belgium. Anyway, we became friends. And we remained friends throughout the decades. And then a few years ago, I was sitting with Annabelle in Cafe Rimon in Jerusalem, in Ben Yehuda Street. I don't know if you know it.
Oh, absolutely.
And Annabelle told me then that I knew her father was a Holocaust survivor, but I was not really familiar with his story. But Annabelle told me that her mother, Edith, had taken down notes in French from Sam's dictation. Sam had passed away by then. And Annabelle asked me if I would turn these notes into a book. And so that's when this adventure began.
Wow, that's quite incredible. So did you have a chance? Sam had already passed away by then, so you didn't have a chance to meet him.
Unfortunately, yeah.
So he must have,
yeah.
He must have taken great notes. But go ahead.
I was going to say that after he came out from the camps, he actually had a number of health issues, and I think he died back in 1980, something like that. Yeah. But he did have a wonderful life after the war, so thank God. Yeah.
I thank God. I mean, obviously, over 6 million did not have that opportunity to follow his story. Helped, I think, bring. I hope everyone who reads it a little bit closer to understanding the horrors.
Yeah. And I have to add that it was really a very great honor that Annabelle asked me to write the story. She knew I was a Christian, she was Jewish, and I wanted very much to do justice to her father's story. And
you did. Well, you absolutely did. I know that he would have been proud. It said what you mentioned in the book, that he kept quiet a lot. He studied his situation, and that was what helped him survive. I don't think he would have been quiet about this one. I think he would have loved to have said, "This is my story now."
Annabelle has said that to me, so that's a very big compliment.
Oh, well, very good. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to pause right here for a commercial break. When we come back, maybe we'll get in a little bit more about the details of Sam's story. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. We'll be right back.
Ezra International Global Network is now on Rumble, and you can even watch us on your Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick, or your Roku device. It's simple. Here's how to do it. First, download the Rumble app on your device. Then search for Ezra International Global TV Network. You can watch our live 24/7 channel and our weekly shows anytime you like. Oh yeah, and you can also go to our website and download our Ezra International app and take us with you wherever you go. Ezra International, we're there for you.
Welcome back. We're talking to Lesley Ann Richardson about creating beauty from the abyss. Lesley, your writing again is so seamless. I love the way you just almost matter-of-factly weave the stories of the Feast of the Lord into the book of Sam's life and his culture prior to his, unfortunate arrests and the like. Can you tell us a little bit more about Sam's life and his story and why you wrote it the way you did?
Okay. Well, Sam was born in Poland in 1917, and he was born into an Orthodox Jewish family in a little village in the south of Poland, actually very close to Auschwitz. And because it was an Orthodox household, that made it very difficult for Sam to want to pursue his passion, which was art. Mm-hmm. So, nevertheless, he was incredibly determined. And at a young age, he left home. He decided to learn a trade. And eventually, he decided he would go and study in Russia. He believed that it was a kind of a paradise for writers and artists. Anyway, he had so many adventures in trying to pursue his dream of studying art. And he got into really some very perilous situations. Interestingly enough, he went into Russia, was picked up by the KGB, and eventually sent back to Poland. But that area of Poland is now in the Ukraine. Mm. And it was very interesting to me. I wrote all this before the conflict in Ukraine broke out. But I did come to understand that area that Sam was passing through was a place that had gone through so much suffering before the war. And it seems like it's still continuing. But anyway, Sam came back to Krakow, and then he decided he would like to study art in Belgium at the Royal College there. And it was now 1937. Germany was becoming very, very, it was very, very dangerous for Jews in Germany at that time. But nevertheless, he decided he would go across Germany and come to the other side of the continent and hopefully find a place there, which he did, and braving all kinds of dangers along the way. And eventually he did fulfill his dream of studying art. And he had a little period of happiness before the war broke out and everything changed.
Everything did change, and you know, he was young and naive, and bought into the propaganda in Russia. As you mentioned, he thought he could go there and study his art. And I'm just amazed at how many times that man was arrested and survived.
I know. He had to keep track, wasn't it?
Yeah. But you know, one of the things that it highlights, and you mentioned Ukraine. And yes, you're right, that region of the world was changed hands many times between Poland and the Austrian empires and Russia, Germany. But it highlights the need, in my mind, for an Israel, you know, for the Jewish people. That's one thing you know, this program is called It's All About the Aliyah. And one thing Sam's story does is it really it highlights that need for a place of refuge for the Jewish people. He was treated horribly everywhere he went.
Oh, well, yeah. So many people were treated so brutally just for no fault of their own. They were part of the chosen people. They were Jews. And of course, in the camps itself, you know, the sufferings and the excruciating things that happened because they were Jews. You know, it just beggars belief. And we're still mystified that such things could happen. But we're wiser.
Yeah, well, I hope we are. And, you know, it's sad to say that, you know, this anti-Semitism still exists, and it's growing stronger. And you know, Sam's life of anti-Semitism started long before, you know, the Holocaust did. He was treated with such disdain and you know, beaten so many times. It was horrifying. But what an amazing spirit that man had.
What a spirit. Yeah. And as you know, there is a scene in the book where when Sam is still in Poland, he's in Krakow, he's working, and he's strolling along beside the Vistula River. And he has this very strange encounter with this very mysterious man who says to him, "You are going to be whatever you want to be." And this encounter elated Sam, but he did think later that man, whom he called the prophet, he gave Sam this hope of really achieving his goals and being a creator, but he did not tell Sam the price that would be paid in order to fulfill those dreams.
Wow, yeah. You know, as you said that, I immediately thought of Joseph. You know, Joseph had a dream, and he was told his brothers and his father that he was going to raise to this position, but never could he have imagined the suffering that was going to take place in between. I didn't make that connection earlier. I just thought of that now as you spoke that. Yeah.
Well, in a way, the suffering is the way into the good, the blessing that lies beyond, and there's no other way. So Sam's artwork, it's permeated with this wisdom and this compassion and this, you know, it's filled with what he's learned along his journey. And he has images from the concentration camps, but he has other very joyful images as well of Jewish feasts and weddings and so on. So all his experiences, I think I said in the book, it's something like they seemed to pour themselves into his hands.
Yeah, he did. It shows. I mean, the suffering shows, but you know that he appreciated beauty because
Yeah.
of the suffering that
Yeah.
also, and he was able to illustrate both in his art.
Mm. Yeah.
It's quite remarkable.
Yes. And although he was not conventionally religious, he had a deep appreciation for his Jewish heritage. And one image that does recur in the book again and again is this image of a sukkah, the tabernacle that we have at the Feast of Tabernacles.
Right.
And I think that Sam was aware that there was a sheltering power over his life that was bringing him through these incredible ordeals and keeping him safe, even though he came so close to death so many times.
Yes, he did.
Somehow he was brought through.
Yeah, our producer Carrie, our mutual friend, mentioned the idea of the Book of Esther. The God not being mentioned, but this hidden power that saw him through. And the mystery for us, and of course, is why so many did perish, and some survived, and we'll never understand that completely. But we're grateful in this case for Sam.
Yes, yeah. And we will always wrestle with the other.
Yes, yes, we will. Lesley, we're up against another break. We're going to take that right now, and when we come back, I want to talk more about the book and how this audience can get a hold of it. Okay?
Sure.
All right, we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. We're still talking with Lesley Ann Richardson, the author of Creating Beauty from the Abyss. Lesley, before we get too far into this last segment, why don't you tell our audience how they can get a copy of this amazing work that you did?
Yes, they can go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble or any of the big outlets and just put in the name Creating Beauty from the Abyss and my name, Lesley Ann Richardson, and that will come up. And I also have a Facebook author page under the same Lesley Ann Richardson. So I think I'm quite easy to find.
Very good. I mean, we will have that link available to our audience.
And thank you for the 5 stars.
You are very welcome. It's well deserved. Again, I could not recommend this book highly enough. I will recommend it to all of my friends who have this love for Israel and the Jewish people, and use this program as well to advertise it, because this story deserves to be told. I remember reading about Babi Yar at a young age and feeling always being compelled to share the Holocaust survivor story there of a woman named Dina. And so I can relate to your desire to want to share this story. I really can. Yeah. One thing that is probably not known, we haven't talked about yet, is that your late husband actually is famous. He wrote a poem called Wildflower, correct? And that poem became a hit song.
That's right.
Skylarks recorded it. It went to number 9, I believe, on the Billboard charts in 1973. How did that affect your life?
Well, that was actually long before I came into Dave's life.
Okay.
But that was way back in the 70s, and I don't know if you could remember it. So when I met Dave, he told me about the song, and then he played it, and I thought, oh, yeah, I do remember that song. And it was a big hit all around the world.
Yes.
And had some, I think they call it covers, 73 covers, and it launched David Foster's career. And Dave wrote that song in 15 minutes, and he was a poet, but the words just flowed, and he knew later God gave him those words, because the song has really ministered to many people, or women especially, who have been going through very traumatic situations in their lives. And so I think God used the song very, very powerfully in many ways. And
I'm sure he did. It's a beautiful song. And I when I looked it up, I immediately remembered it. It always had left an impression on me. It's beautifully done. Yeah. Well, getting back to Sam and his story, he did survive, and he did produce beautiful art. We will hope to have pictures of that, maybe as we're speaking about that as well for this program. And he settled in Iran, right? Was it?
That's right. So I actually talked to Annabelle on Skype the other day, and I said, Annabelle, I don't know the story of how you and your family actually made Aliyah. And she told me that Sam had some health problems. You remember that on the train he had that heart attack going to Mauthausen and other things. But what happened was he developed very bad asthma. And the doctor said, this is in Belgium, he's still living there. So, and the doctor said to him, Sam, you have to go to a very dry climate. And he said, I would suggest, I'll give you two alternatives, go to Arad or go to Arizona. So needless to say, Sam and his family went to Arad, which was just a little town in the south of Israel, a little settlement town, and very, very, back in the 60s when they went, would have been fairly, rough and ready. And, but they loved it. And they eventually, they set up a studio, and eventually they opened an artists' village. And it drew people from all over the country, in fact, all over the world, many thousands of visitors. Sam's wife, Edith, was also an artist. And so I believe that they were very happy. They had two children, and
that is beautiful to have that legacy, that his artwork will continue to be here for posterity, and also the fact that he finally made it to Israel. I know that there was so much turmoil during that time. There were people turned away that could have survived the Holocaust had they been able to come to Israel. Of course, it was known as the region of Palestine at the time. But such horrific and tragic history there. But Israel is the success story. It's the promise of God, and it's why we do what we do as far as helping people make Aliyah. And I know that you can truly relate to that in the sense of from knowing everything that you know about the Holocaust, right?
Well, I remember one scene in the book, and Sam has been in a concentration camp in the south of France called Gour. That's at the beginning in 1940. He was thinking about going into Spain, but he realized he escaped from the concentration camp, sitting in the forest, and he thinks about, where can I go? Where can I go as a Jew with no papers? He knew that going into Spain was incredibly dangerous. He knew he could not go to Palestine. He knew there was no way he could go back to Poland. He didn't know what had happened to his family. And so there's one alternative: go back to Belgium as a Jew in hiding with no papers. So, but he's there in the forest, and the trees are like a sukkah, and his way is being watched over. That's what I felt. Yeah. But it doesn't take away from the agony when you're in the middle.
No, the agony and the sorrow. It was a love story as well. There were loves in his life, and again, I'm trying not to give a spoiler alert here, so I don't want to tell too much But I definitely there was a point in that story where I choked up as if I was losing a family member. It's hard. It's hard. It's a hard story, but one that I could not put down. And again, you did a beautiful way. You captured his story in a way that everybody needs to read.
Oh, thank you, Gary. Well, that was my desire, to honor Sam, to really salute him as an amazing man who there was no bitterness. There was gratitude. There was joy. There was love, as you say. And it's really, maybe it's cliche, but it was really a triumph of the human spirit manifested in his life.
It really was. I don't know how it's humanly possible to go through what he went through and maintain that attitude and ability to keep on living. But he did. It was a testament to that. And imagine his daughter, again, that's a living testimony, and so do you still keep in touch with her?
Oh yeah, very much, because we're, especially over the past year or so, with the book coming out, and she's thrilled, and she wants me to come to, I hope to go to Israel later this year and maybe have a book launch in Christchurch. And she's very keen to do that as well. So maybe around Sukkot, when there'll be hopefully a lot of Christians coming back to Israel by then.
But hopefully by then, yes. I mean, I know the restrictions have been, let down a bit. I hope they continue to be.
Absolutely.
And be allow a good flow of pilgrims to come to the Feast of Tabernacles. That would be a great place to launch it. And I promise you, I will do everything I can to advertise it in my little sphere of influence.
Well, wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're quite welcome. And thank you for doing this program. I trust that this book will have the impact and the reach that the greatest works of art have ever had. It deserves that type of billing.
Yeah, I pray so. Thank you, Gary.
No, you're most welcome.
And thank you for all the work that you are doing at Ezra International. It's so critical, especially at this time. And I know that some of your people are out on the front lines as well in Europe at this time.
Well, thank you for mentioning that. Yes, all of our people in Ukraine continue to be safe, and they continue to do the work. And we have drivers coming from other countries like Moldova. We have a representative named Igor there that's been for weeks now driving and doing 20 hours a day, driving in and out and pulling refugees and sending them out through the airport in Moldova.
Incredible.
Yeah, and they do this at their own peril. I mean, they are risking their lives in and out of the war zone. So I think, in fact, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I really feel that this is the best way we can say never again.
Yeah.
I was invited to speak at a synagogue just last week, just before Yom HaShoah. And that's exactly what the theme was, that the work that we're doing is how we say never again, making it a reality and not just a slogan, because we have to be his feet at this time.
It's a battle, and it requires dedication and consecration and courage.
Amen.
And perseverance.
Yes. Well, again, I thank you for capturing Sam's life and sharing it with the world. And we're out of time. I told you it goes quickly, but I'm so glad. I'm so glad you joined us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, we're out of time. I trust you will find Creating Beauty from the Abyss wherever you buy your books, and we will provide a link here on this program. But please take a look. I know you won't be able to put it down. It's worth the read, and we need to capture these stories and remember them. So once again, we can say never again and make that a reality, not just a slogan. God bless you.